Hi, welcome to the customer attribution and engagement demo. What we're trying to do in this demo is to show how you can load up customer data from a Salesforce instance into TigerGraph, and then we will show how you can use that loaded data for graph exploration. In particular, I'm going to demonstrate how easy it is to use graph to visualize a customer journey from the perspective of marketing, customer attribution, as well as customer engagement. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to export out some CSV files from your Salesforce schema. So here I have an example of some accounts that have been exported out from Salesforce. I have some context. You can see I have some sample data here. Okay, so but before we can populate the data with these CSV files, we need to come up with a schema. Okay, so TigerGraph is a label property graph. So you have vertex types and you have edges. Okay, roughly speaking, and a vertex type maps to the idea of a table in a relational world. And then the edge, of course, is the equivalent of a foreign key to primary key mapping in a relational database. So we have, for instance, an account in your Salesforce, account vertex type. An account has multiple contexts. Okay, a context basically converted from a lead. A lead comes into the Salesforce. It's then nurtured by multiple marketing campaigns. Now, this is a many-to-many relationship, right? A campaign is targeted to many leads. A lead is affected by many campaigns. The campaign member is essentially a join table. Now, no attempt is made to optimize the schema for graph. Rather, what we want to do is to come up with something pretty close to what you have in your Salesforce instance. We want to make it easy for you to export out your own Salesforce data and then import it into this existing schema and give it a go. Okay, so once you have your schema ready to go, the next thing you want to do is you want to map data to that schema. And we already showed that we've uploaded various CSV files. Let's take this one for instance. Okay, so to map a particular CSV file, in this case context, to the context vertex type, you essentially drag and drop. And here's how you do the mapping. So point and click, you want to just drag and drop and map different columns to different attribute types, as you can see here, right? And you essentially do the same thing for the edges as well. So for instance, contact.csv is also used to map the belongs to edge type. So a contact belongs to an account. So let's click on this right here. And you can see, essentially we're mapping the account ID, which is the foreign key, to the account on the belongs to edge type, and same with the contact ID. So the edge is essentially, consists of two primary IDs. It essentially, quote unquote, joins two vertices together. So once you repeat this process for every vertex type, for every edge type in your schema, then you have everything wired up and you're ready to go. You're ready to load up data and populate your database. Okay, I've already done this. As you can see, everything says finish loading, finish loading. But if you're doing this for the first time, just click on this to start the loading process. I've loaded up a total of 34,421 vertices, 104,000 edges, and it kind of breaks down to the different, 253 opportunities, 14,228 leads, and so on. Okay, so once you have everything populated, you can start to explore graph. So what we want to do again is to just use the explore feature and bring up a fictitious account, VRG Payments. It's a fictitious financial services company that's interested in anti-fraud, anti-money laundering type solutions. Now, before I go further, let me just get more real estate here. And I want to go ahead and set up certain things. So for campaign, I'm going to show the name, contact, first name, last name, title, create date. date. And lastly, opportunity, I want to show the description. And perhaps the close date. There you go. Okay, so one thing you can do in the Explore graph is just double click on the vertex that you want to explore, and it will bring up the nearest one-hop neighbors, all the nearest one-hop neighbors. So let me expand this. Here you can see, here's our account. The account has multiple contacts. It has 2 opportunities. The green vertices are essentially opportunities. We have an opportunity that's essentially a renewal, a 3-year renewal agreement. This one here is called fraud circle detection. This one, yeah, this is a brand new opportunity that closed. Okay, so we're going to use the same, as you can see here, the account also has multiple contacts, right? As you can imagine, it takes a village to close big deals at large enterprises, right? So you have touch points with principal software engineers, data engineers, VP of engineering, architects, and so on. So let's say I'm interested in this particular opportunity called fraud circle detection. Again, VRG Payments is in the financial services. It's a fictitious company, financial services sector. They're interested in anti-fraud solutions. So again, what I'm going to do is to just double click on that opportunity. And you can see the appropriate subgraph highlighted, right? I'm going to use this trick here to say, show only the subgraph I'm interested in, right? So what I'm essentially doing is I'm drilling down on the particular opportunity and all the people that are involved on that opportunity. Okay, so here are the 3 people that are 3 contacts that are involved. You can see there's Joshua King, who's a data engineer. There's Sam Eisenberg, who's an architect, and then there's the senior manager of credit fraud and decision support, Jamie Walters. Looking at the context, I could see that this guy, Sam Eisenberg, was the one who's created first on June 12th, 2018. The other 2 were created like a week later. Okay, so if I'm going to guess, I'm going to say Sam Eisenberg is probably the pivotal role in this opportunity. So I'm going to, same trick, expand on it, right? And I'm going to come here and say show only the Sam Eisenberg subgraph. So now I have my opportunity, my count, Sam Eisenberg, and then all the blue ones are essentially campaign members. I can double click on it to find out the actual campaign. So you can see I can double click and arrange stuff visually to kind of get a picture of the attribution graph, if you would, right? What sort of marketing campaigns was responsible for helping Sam Eisenberg on his customer journey, right? I can do this on and on. As you can see, there's a few of these campaigns, right? Rather than spend the next 5 minutes doing that for you, I've already created one here and arranged it nicely for you in chronological order. So counterclockwise, we can see that Sam Eisenberg, this is the opportunity, and here are the different marketing campaigns that he signed up for, right? So this all started up with him signing up for the developer edition. He signed up for a free trial on June 11th. And then he signed up for a test drive account about 1 week later on June 11th, same day. Shortly after that, a few days later, one of our salespeople reached out and probably qualified the opportunity, converted the lead, and so on. And then in later on in the month, he signed up for a webinar for GSQL, which is our query language. We'll come to that in a little bit. GSQL, he went on to download the white paper, and then he signed up for another webinar on July 19th, the anti-money laundering webinar. Shortly after that, he downloaded our benchmarks, he requested a demo, and then another sales meeting took place in August, and you can see he attended another Graph Gurus episode 3, anti-fraud, anti-money laundering. Shortly after that, there was another sales meeting on September 19th, and shortly after that, the deal closed on 9/26, right? So you can see in a nice graph what attributed to this opportunity closing, what sort of all the marketing campaigns that were responsible. Now, if you see yourself doing a certain set of ad hoc graph exploration over and over again, what you can do is to consider automating the whole thing. And this is where we come to G-SQL, right? So you can write a function called customer journey subgraph, and we've done this. And essentially what we've done is automate the whole process for you, right? So it's Turing complete, very, very fast. It compiles down to C++, and the whole thing becomes a, once compiled, it is also installed as a REST endpoint for you on port 9000, okay? So we can run this. So again, Sam Eisenberg. Actually, the sample data is here in the comments. Likewise, the opportunity is also here. And I'm going to run the query. Expand this. So by default, the results come back in JSON. If you run this in Graph Studio, you'll see it in graphical format. Okay, so I've run the query. Essentially, you're getting exactly the same subgraph that I showed in the previous screen. Okay, thank you for your interest, and this is the end of the demo. Thanks. Bye bye.